Hello again, fellow residents of Webster, New Hampshire. This is the sixth in a series of short videos produced by the Webster Conservation Commission on the subject of the wetlands of Webster. In this edition, we will examine lakes and ponds. Like all of our many types of wetlands, lakes and ponds play a crucial role in the larger ecosystems in New Hampshire and in our hometown. Perhaps the obvious question here is what makes a pond and a lake a lake? On a very large scale and on a very small scale, lakes and ponds are easy to identify. No one would call Lake Superior a pond, nor would they call Webster's Little Pond, also called Cooch Pond, a lake. It is all the in-betweens where things can get confusing, but perhaps not so confusing at all. At some point in history, someone came upon a small, enclosed body of water and called it a pond or a lake, and it stuck. Either way, lakes and ponds are areas of standing water with no certain inflow or outflow. The water in them comes from rain, groundwater, and sometimes from rivers and streams which flow into them. Generally, it is considered that lakes are larger and deeper than ponds, a distinction in search of a difference. Yet that idea is very much contradicted right here in Webster, as our Pillsbury Lake is 67 acres in size and has a maximum depth of about 10 feet, while Walker Pond is 174 acres in size and has a maximum depth of about 13 feet. In the state of New Hampshire, there are about 1,000 lakes and ponds over 10 acres in size, and some 3,000 smaller bodies of water that are clearly ponds. Critically, many lakes in New Hampshire are utilized as sources of drinking water for their communities. In fact, close to 40%, about 500,000 people in New Hampshire, get drinking water directly from surface waters, and surely a large proportion of all living things obtain their water from lakes and ponds. The health of these water sources is easily damaged, as are the habitats in and around them. As an example, let us consider road salt, one of the pollutants of greatest concern in New Hampshire. A brief examination of the effects of road salt will readily demonstrate why careful attention must be paid to the various sources of pollution and why prevention is the best medicine when it comes to our natural environment here in Webster and in the larger world. According to a study done by the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests in 2006, approximately 13,500 acres of forest land are converted to other uses every year in New Hampshire. It is safe to assume that number is even higher today. When land is developed and trees and other plant life removed, there is an increase in stormwater runoff. Rather than slowly seeping into the ground, rainwater finds its way over bared landscapes into lakes, ponds, rivers, and streams. Road salt, used in the winter, gets carried along with it and finds its way into those surface waters. Not only does the increased salt do direct damage to many living things, both plant and animal, but it increases the level of phosphorus in surface waters. For the most part, phosphorus is not naturally occurring in lakes and ponds, and its presence is necessary for the growth of algae. With increased phosphorus in the water comes the increased growth of algae, making the water turbid or cloudy. Sunlight is blocked from reaching plants on the floor of the pond or lake, slowly decreasing or even killing off the plant life. As we remember, plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen, something that makes life possible on our planet as animals like ourselves do just the opposite, taking in oxygen and giving off carbon dioxide. With the decrease in plant life comes decreases in the levels of oxygen in the water, which deprives aquatic species such as fish from surviving, species which are food sources for many animals living on land. There are three other major concerns. The first is called the carrying capacity, which is the amount of use a body of water gets from humans. Second is the presence of exotic or invasive species. And third are the effects of climate change. Chief among some 74 documented exotic species whose growth can quickly overwhelm and force out native species is variable milfoil, purple loosestrife, and water chestnut. Of special concern are shelled animals called zebra mussels, which, though they have not yet been found in New Hampshire, have been found in nearby states. The New Hampshire Lakes Association and the Department of Environmental Services continue to collaborate with other interested parties to resolve these issues. We can witness the direct effects of all these issues on the health of a lake or pond, but lakes and ponds also exist as part of a watershed, large areas of land which ultimately drain rainwater into lakes, ponds, streams, and rivers. Because they are part of a watershed, factors which originate sometimes miles from the lake or pond will eventually affect the quality of their water. Damage from all these sources can happen with surprising speed. Restoring the environment to its natural state of health is a complex and formidable long-term challenge. As is so often the case, the best resolution of these threats is by awareness and prevention. This demands forethought and careful planning with regard to development near these water sources, as well as diligent monitoring programs. The beauty of our lakes and ponds attracts people who use them for recreation and to have a nice view from a home. As such, they are also a very important part of our economy and even our property tax base. No one wants to live on a lake or visit a lake that has been fouled by misuse and abuse. As we have seen in our discussion of all the wetlands in Webster, the conservation and protection of our lakes and ponds is the responsibility of all of our residents. Our actions have both positive and negative impacts on our lakes and ponds, even if we live a good distance from them. For these natural treasures to continue to sustain us and the other living things with which we share this place, and for the continued pleasures they provide, we must all do our part. The generations to come will thank us for caring for these places so that they might also derive the rich benefits we enjoy and which were enjoyed by our ancestors. Your fellow citizens of the Webster Conservation Commission, thank you for your efforts and your support. Thank you for taking the time to view these educational videos. And please, tell your friends. We must all be united in this common purpose.